In the early 1970s, the movie industry was in a state of flux. Television had stolen much of its audience. Grand old movie palaces were being torn down, and low-budget, independent films were making bigger splashes than big-budget studio epics. It was in this climate that Francis Ford Coppola, a 32-year-old filmmaker, despite initial hesitation, Coppola, who had co-founded American Zoetrope with George Lucas to make personal films, accepted the job when his production company needed cash. He immediately alarmed studio executives by insisting on casting Marlon Brando, who was thought to be past his prime at 47. However, Coppola's vision for the film was far from a typical gangster flick. Released in 1972, The Godfather was an epic tale of a Sicilian immigrant family navigating the world of organized crime in America. Coppola crafted a quasi-Shakespearean story about a dynasty giving way, with Brando's character, Don Vito Corleone, at the center. The film's portrayal of mobsters as complex, psychologically deep characters was unprecedented. The Godfather's success was immediate and far-reaching. It became the highest-grossing film of 1972, and for a time, the highest-grossing film ever made, earning between $250 and $291 million at the box office. The film's critical acclaim was equally impressive, winning 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. But The Godfather did more than just entertain and impress audiences. It changed the course of Hollywood forever. The film bridged the gap between old and new Hollywood, ushering in a new era of filmmaking. Coppola's bold choices, such as casting relative unknowns like Al Pacino and Diane Keaton, paid off handsomely. The Godfather's success also paved the way for a new generation of filmmakers to take risks and tell stories that challenged the status quo. The film's cynical look at the American dream and its portrayal of the moral decay of optimistic youth resonated with audiences in a time of turmoil, such as the Vietnam War and Watergate. The Godfather's influence can still be felt in Hollywood today. Its portrayal of violence as a vital part of storytelling, and its depiction of Italians as fully realized characters rather than stereotypes have had a lasting impact on the industry. The film's success also helped launch the careers of many of its stars, including Pacino, James Caan, and Robert Duvall, who went on to dominate the screen for decades to come. The risks Francis Ford Coppola took making The Godfather. When Francis Ford Coppola took on the task of adapting Mario Puzo's novel, The Godfather, into a film, he made several bold choices that were considered risky at the time. Casting Marlon Brando as Don Corleone. Brando was thought to be past his prime at 47, but Coppola insisted on casting him as the lead. Studio executives were alarmed by this choice. Hiring relatively unknown actors. Coppola cast Al Pacino, James Caan, Robert Duvall, and others who were relatively unknown at the time. This was a huge risk, but it paid off handsomely. Shooting on location in New York. Paramount wanted to film in St. Louis and set it in the 1970s, but Coppola fought to shoot on location in New York in the 1940s as the book was set. This added significant cost and complexity. Improvising actor rehearsals. Coppola had the actors, including Brando, Pacino, and Caan, improvise a dinner scene together to help them bond and get into character. This unorthodox approach helped create the iconic family dynamic. Persisting despite studio pressure. Coppola was nearly fired multiple times by Paramount during production due to disagreements over casting and creative decisions. He only kept his job because he had recently won an Oscar for Patton. In the end, Coppola's risks paid off as
The Godfather
became a critical and commercial smash, revolutionizing Hollywood and cementing his status as a filmmaking visionary. But the process was the most frightening and depressing experience of his career at the time.